Sup, y'all? Welcome back to the Fidget Spinner World Cup. I'm your host, Jay Schlatt. Episode 2 in the review series. I really liked doing this the first time, and I want to make it a series. Let's see how big the number can get. I'm just curious. I listened to, more newer albums, because I didn't have many newer albums on the docket last time. It was more like, 2017, 2015 type things, but I listen to a lot of new music, listen to a lot of interesting music, and I've decided that I'm going to do a color system, because remember the last video is red and blue the whole time. That's why you're looking at a black and white background right now. Moving background is pretty cool. I enjoy it. But I had an idea. All these other YouTubers have, a number system, which I have a number system too, but I thought I could diversify it with adding a color scheme describing how I feel about it, which I don't think I know anyone doing that, which is kind of interesting to me. So I'll run down the colors for you right now. I didn't do anything crazy, but if you're a basic child, you could probably understand where this goes. For albums I rated between a 1 and a 2, I went with the color red. For albums I rated between a 3 and a 4, I went with orange. 5 and 6, yellow. 7 and 8, green. And from 9 to 10, blue. Interesting, I know. Something I never even thought about until I just did it. So, without further ado, let's get into the albums that I listened to. Dan Deacon's Mystic Familiar. This was an album I saw Fantano review, and I didn't know about this until the review came out. And me and Fantano had some pretty similar thoughts, but I really enjoyed this. This was really good. Like, some incredible synthesizers and like scattering percussion and like some just great synths and arpeggios. So many arpeggios on this album. It's great. The themes of this album with the ARP, it literally has a 4-track theme called ARP. That's crazy for arpeggio. So I like this project a lot. Dan Deacon is definitely someone I want to check out earlier work on, and even some of the soundtracks that he worked on. Some of my favorite tracks off of the project were Sat by a Tree, ARP 1, Wide Eye, and Hypnagogic. And some of my least favorite tracks, if you can even call them that, was ARP 4, Any Moment, Weeping Birch, and My Friend. Dan Deacon, Mystic Familiar, strong 7 to a light 8. I could have had a Rustic Pagoda by Modern Bison. If you guys follow the band Everything, they released Get to Heaven and A Fever Dream, one of my favorite albums of all time. They released on their Instagram and other social medias that they had a band before Everything, where they made math rock music, and it was called Modern Bison. And for the first time ever, it's on streaming services. I think this was recorded in like 2006, and I was intrigued by it. So I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. This is a far cry from what they did on Everything. This is a whole different style and flair. It's all weird and math rocky. Like there's like passages where it's literally like a minute long of just a backwards conversation. Like some of it's pretty good, but like most of it's kind of it's either bad or nothing really blew me out of my socks. I guess that this is an EP because it's only like 6 tracks. It's mad long. I think it's like 45 minutes because songs on here breach the 10-minute mark. There's some interesting percussion and like instrumental flares to it, but like nothing that's really like blowing me out of the water, I can see why this project only had one release, unfortunately, but it made everything, so I can't be mad about that. I love Everything. They're my favorite band, and I definitely can appreciate this path in their very long and historic career. One of my favorite songs is Le Hommage, I think that's how you say it, and my least favorite track is Draw Swords. Modern Bison, I could have had a Rustic Pagoda, decent to strong 5. 2017 to 2019, Against All Logic. Against All Logic, he dropped some bops in his 2012-2017 album. It had one of my favorite songs on 2018 in there. I equally enjoyed this album. It was really good. I really liked it. There were some songs that kind of dragged or were kind of like, kind of boring, but most of these tracks were like some winners with some fantastic sampling, some great audio work, just walls of sound just sucking me into the vast void that is this album. with the runtime being a lot like shorter, I guess you could say, being shorter than before, because it was 2012, 2017. Now this one's only 2 years of demos, but it could have been 7. Honestly, this album slaps. I really enjoy it a lot. Album cover's pretty stupid though. I really wish he thought of a different design, but in all honesty, good album. Some of my favorite tracks were Alarm, You, Forever, and Fantasy, and some of my least favorite tracks were If You Can't Do It Good, Do It Hard, Defers, and Faith. Against All Logic, 2017-2019, strong 6 to a light 7. Unlocked by Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats. What I usually like about Denzel's solo work is his abstract instrumentals. He doesn't have many, he doesn't follow many trends. Like, he has a lot of, some of the beats off of Zoo are almost industrial bangers to a certain extent. But on here, I enjoyed what I was hearing. There was no track that was bad off of this. It was just pretty, decent, nothing crazy. Kind of some generic rap kind of instrumentals, nothing that really blowing me out of my socks. I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but beats could have been a bit more interesting. Denzel's word flow is on high end, as it always is. He never shuts off. I don't know how that man can spit a bad bar. I don't think I've ever heard him spit a bad bar. But Kenny Beats kind of slacking on this one. Kind of feels like some demos he wasn't too big of a fan on, and just made Denzel rap over it, honestly. Some of my favorite tracks were So Incredible.pkg, track 7, and Pyro. And some of my least favorite tracks were Take It Back, Diet, and Cosmic. Unlocked, Denzel Curry, Kenny Beats, decent to strong 5. West of Eden by HMLTD. I am so happy about this, because I can finally disagree with Anthony Fantano. This project was not good. He had bust out the yellow flannel. He said that he really enjoyed this, gave it a very high, very positive review. I listened to it. I did not have those same feelings. I listened to this album and scored it before he released his video, so this is not a bias of me wanting to disagree with him. This was my own opinion, solely, completely out of the realm of what he thought. This album was a mess to my ears. There were some tracks that were pretty good, but most of the tracks were either bad or just meh, nothing incredible. A lot of the album was just I did not like the clashing styles all over this project. Just put a sour taste in my mouth. There was times I was listening to it what the hell am I listening to? But with that said, some tracks were great. I really enjoyed a lot of some of these tracks. But West of Eden, after listening to their EP, I did not enjoy this all that much. I really did not, and I was expecting to like this, because I know abstract and alternative is all me, but I don't know, too much abstract and too much alternative can turn me off sometimes. Some of my favorite tracks are Loaded, Satan, Luella and I, and Death Drive, and some of my least favorite tracks are The West is Dead, Blank Slate, and Joanna. West of Eden, HMLTD, strong 3 to a light 4. Flamboyant by Dorian Electrica. I had no clue what to think going into this. The only thing I knew was that Clarence Clarity and Mr. 100 Gex, Dylan Brady, were helping out in the production, and I knew for a fact as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I need to listen to this. This is going to be insane. It wasn't that insane, honestly. It was pretty standard pop. Don't get me wrong. There's some burst of scary in there, some abstract ideas, but I enjoyed this. I did, for the most part. Some of the tracks I've returned to because they've become favorites of mine. The lyrics on here are very interesting too. It goes into ideas and struggles that I never really thought of, being the person that I am, and hearing it come from another person really opened my eyes to a lot of the issues on here, like Adam and Steve, telling people, I don't give a shit what you think about me. God loves me, and I like that. That was a good sentiment. That was a good sentiment on that track. But a lot of this A lot of this album was really good. You know, some tracks kind of left me a little is this it? Like, some of the tracks, like, some of the choruses were really annoying, like, daddy like. I couldn't get into that, unfortunately. But a lot of this was a win. Yes to Dorian Electrica, absolutely. Some of my favorite tracks off this project were Emasculate, Adam and Steve, and Flamboyant. And some of my least favorite tracks were Career Boy, Daddy Like, and Guyliner. Flamboyant, Dorian Electrica, decent to strong 6. Wriggle by Clipping. I'm gonna do a video on a Wriggle. It's coming out soon. Not gonna tell you when. It's gonna be a little surprise, but I found the album cover and I was drawn to it. This is turning into one of my favorite album covers of all time. This is a fantastic looking cover, and I was like, I need to listen to this. I fuck with some of There Existed and Addiction to Blood. That was a good project. I want to get into more of Clipping, but this was not a good place for me to start. I did not like this. I thought I was gonna love it, but the production is so annoying and Daveed Diggs has some fantastic vocals, like he always does. He's always bringing the fire, but damn, the instrumentals are so I did not like this that much. And it really upset me because I thought I was gonna love this, but I really didn't. The lyrical themes about, you know, sex and fucking are cool, but like I want to hear some, like, you know, some cool production. And I'll give Shooter credit where its entire instrumental is like a and just gun cocking sounds for percussion. That's a cool idea, but you know, not all cool ideas are good ideas, unfortunately. The only track that I really enjoyed off of this was Wriggle, the title track. That's pretty good. After giving it multiple listens, I started to like it a lot more. And the track Intro, that was a good track. And some of the tracks I disliked were Back Up, Hot Fuck, No Love, and Our Time. Wriggle by Clipping, light to decent 3. Helios by AWOL. This is another artist like from before where I'm sure you have not listened to a lot of his music, but I want you to try it. I like it. I do. This is a good artist, and he deserves a lot more praise and upkeep because he's pumping stuff out that sounds like it's made from a professional studio when he's independent, which kind of blows my mind. That's kind of that's great things. You know, production value, I say, is always what keeps a good musician from being a great musician. You can have fantastic word flow, you can have great beats, but if your production sounds like shit, then no one's going to listen to it. And AWOL Helios does a great job. This is a great pop album, a great forward-thinking pop album. I really like it. I enjoy it a lot. There's some tracks that really pop off of here, but I enjoy this album. I really do, and I think you should go listen to it. It's a great pop album with some R&B and hip-hop flavor sprinkled in, and I think you guys are going to like it. Any Brockhampton fans that enjoy the more, like, you know, poppy, summery tracks like Sugar or Summer or songs like that, I think you're going to enjoy this album a lot. Some of my favorite tracks off the project are EMS, Fuzzy Dice, and Satellite, and some of my least favorite tracks are Sailor Sun, Zodiac Killer, and Figure It Out. Helios, AWOL, decent to strong 7. Holy fucking shit, I dropped my phone. Endless by Frank Ocean. Bought this on CD, I enjoyed this so much. It's hanging up on my wall now. Look at him standing there all proud, full fuck. Endless was an album that I never really, I never got into because I couldn't find it. I have Apple Music, but I'm not going to watch a 45-minute video every time I want to listen to a certain song, You feel me? So what I did, downloaded it on my phone. I used from the CD, so I did purchase this, so it's not stealing. I gave Frank Ocean money, and I enjoy this a lot. It's there's some tracks that are like too short that like I can't even get a really good opinion on. It just kind of bums me out. I wish the songs were longer. It kind of backhauls all the time of the album on the end. But other than that, I enjoyed this project. Great. It gave me my first 10 out of 10 song for Mine. I really like that song. It's a great track. Some of my favorite tracks off the album are Florida, Rush's 2, and Mine. And some of my least favorite tracks off the project: Comme des Garçons, Honey Baby, and Higgs' Outro. Endless, Frank Ocean, Strong 7 to a Light 8. The Pornhub Valentine's Day EP. Valentine's Day just was, recently. It was recent enough. I didn't do it when the first one came out, so I wanted to give it a listen. And holy shit, was this bad. Oh my god. This was not good. Wow. Put up the not good sign. This was trash. I really don't like trap, and wow, I did not like this. I did not like any of these songs except for the PNB Rock track Right Now. That was good. I don't know why I enjoyed that as much as I did, but I did. That was the only good track. Everything else was straight trash. A lot of ones I'm looking at on here, and holy fuck. Did 6ix9ine phone it in? He showed up for that damn paycheck. I hope it was good. And Asian Doll coming with probably one of my worst songs I've ever heard. Don't like that track at all. Don't like Truth. Not much to say. I don't see anyone fucking in this album. I don't see anyone putting this on for fun. I really do not know why this album was created. And it has Little Xan on it, so I think that should speak for itself. Some of my favorite tracks, if you can even call it that, was the Right Now. And some of my least favorite tracks were all of them. Pornhub Valentine's Day EP, Light to Decent 2. And last but not least, The Slow Rush by Tame Impala. This album comes to you sponsored by Pipe? I don't know. P-I-E-P. This gentleman commented on my last video saying that I should review Tame Impala and another artist, which I'm going to get to next time. Didn't have time for this one, I'm sorry, but I'll get you next time. Here's my receipt. This album was good. I liked it a lot. I was never really too into Tame Impala. I know the less I know, the better. That's everyone's Tame Impala song, If you know that, you're basic. But I wanted to give this a whole run through, and after giving this whole run through, gosh darn it, I really like this a lot. I did not know what to expect. I really don't know much about Tame Impala except for there's a lot of funky bass lines on his tracks, and damn, this thing is littered with funky bass lines. This is a great album. I really enjoyed this. I've been coming back to listen to songs, and they're just going to be going up in like value the more I listen to it. And I can honestly say this might land in one of the top albums of this year. And this is why I like doing this review series, because I probably would not have reviewed the Slow Rush album. I probably would not have listened to it, but now I have an excuse, and now I like a new album. I love liking new albums. I love giving more excuses to buy vinyl. Maybe one of these days I'll do a vinyl collection video, if you guys want. I don't know. I'm here to please. Some of my favorite tracks off the album were Breathe Deeper, Posthumous Forgiveness, and It Might Be Time. Some of my least favorite tracks are On Track, Tomorrow's Dust, and Glimmer. The Slow Rush, Tame Impala, Strong 7 to a Light 8. And that's all she wrote. That's all we got for this week's edition of the review series. Number 2. I'm going to be coming back to you with number 3. Y'all going to tell me what you think, because I love this series. I want to keep doing it. Thank you for listening. Catch you in the next album video, and see you in the next review. And don't forget to have a pleasant day.